Hello. So, today is June 30th? Yeah, I think it's June 30th, 24. And I'm coming to you today from the Big Bog. Big Bog State Recreation Area in Minnesota. I've actually been in Minnesota now for 2 weeks. I did not make a update last week. I was just barely in Minnesota in a place called Blue Mounds. And it wasn't that I didn't like Blue Mounds. Blue Mounds was actually quite beautiful. I liked it better than this place, except that it was a very rainy and wet week, and the day that I was leaving last Saturday it was actively raining, and I just never took the opportunity to make an entry there, vlog entry, whatever you want to call it. And didn't realize until after I'd already left, and I was coming up here, and this was a on-call week at work. And I wanted to get here early for that and be prepared for that, because you know that can be very daunting, and it was fairly daunting, although the beginning of the week wasn't too bad, but people don't care about that at all. I'm still on call for another like an hour or so, but yesterday was Saturday. This is Sunday, but yesterday I worked all day, which sucks, because there was a place here that I did get to it, but I didn't get to spend as much time there, and it was late in the day, and it was very buggy. As you might suspect, the bog is buggy. I'd hoped that the cooler climate here, and it's been cold at night. I mean, it's beautiful right now. It's 75, 77 degrees and perfectly clear skies, as you can see. I even got the little telescope out last night. Did some astrophotography. I didn't bother with the big telescope because basically the dark period is so short here at this time of year. I mean, it's started to get longer now because we've passed the equinox, but and the moon is still a factor. In fact, I saw the moon a minute ago now, but it was coming up at 1 a.m. or so, and it didn't really get dark until 11:30. I mean, its sun doesn't set until 9:30, something ridiculous, 9:15, something like that. But it doesn't actually get dark for another hour at least after that. So I didn't get to do any astrophotography here, and it was a busy work week. But you know, not too bad. And it's a fairly beautiful place. In fact, I did get one really, there's a river over there. I can't see it, but it actually perfectly aligned with the arc of the Milky Way here. And this is a mortal 2 sky. And when it's clear, it's very dark. When it gets dark and it's clear, it would be a good location for astrophotography. But on Wednesday night it was a perfectly clear night, and I did get the camera out on a tripod, and I got some really good pictures of the Milky Way intersecting with the core of the Milky Way, intersecting with the little river. Pretty cool. And there's an absolutely enormous lake over that way called Red Lake. I mean, this is Minnesota, and it's the land of 10,000 lakes, and it's actually got more than 10,000 lakes. And after all the rain that we had last week, and it rained a good bit here this week too, but I think there's probably 20,000 lakes here now. But yeah, so in last week, since I didn't do an update there, I did spend a week in Blue Mounds, and it is a cool spot. Good facilities, pretty quiet, and the mound itself is pretty cool. Some good, decent hiking up there. Wasn't too buggy, and it's really close to South Dakota and Iowa, but there's a national monument there called Pipestone. I went up to that. That was pretty cool. Beautiful. Just some really beautiful red rocks that they the natives used. As I was saying before, so rudely interrupted by a dead battery. I do love this camera, particularly for photography. Seems like a pretty good camera for video too, but batteries just die. I mean, I swear, I mean, I just taken pictures earlier and it was a full charged battery. And then I do 5 minutes of video and it's dead. And it just stops. It doesn't give you any warning. So I'm gonna have to be a 2-part video once again because I'm too lazy to splice them together. Nobody watches them anyway, so who cares? I'm not gonna go through the whole bunch of effort because it is a pain to take 2 video clips and combine them. I've used my laptop and I couldn't find anything to do it with the tablet, and I don't even break out my personal laptop. So anyways, yeah, as I was saying, went to Pipestone, which is called that because it is the natives used this place to make all their pipes, so it's kind of a holy place. You know, they're smoking pipes. I don't know if they're smoking ganja or tobacco. I think tobacco was introduced to them by us, or by not us. I mean, I'm a Irish immigrant from the 19th century, but by the Europeans that settled here. I think they're the ones that introduced them to tobacco. So I think they were mostly smoking marijuana. But anyways, it was holy to them because that's where they found to be the best place to quarry and make pipes from those stones. So Pipestone. Anyways, that was beautiful. I also went over into South Dakota. Went to a couple parks in a small town there. Just kind of one place that called Devil's Gulch, where supposedly one of the outlaws of the Old West supposedly jumped his horse, a stolen horse, jumped it across this gulch. I don't know if I believe it or not. I mean, it's probably physically doable. It was only a 25 or 30 foot bridge that spanned it. I guess a good horse could do that, but doing it with a stolen horse, who knows? I think it was Wild Bill Hickok. It was the legend anyways. And I love a little cool park with my dream house in it, on it in this town. I mean, it's a little waterfall, little park there called Split Creek, and this just gorgeous house overlooking it over all these rocks. I mean, new dream house, except that it's in South Dakota, and my new summer dream house, I'll put it that way. But anyways, so yeah, I had a good time there, and then I headed up here, and this is nearing the northernmost point. I was going to stay here 2 weeks, but it's so buggy, and I'm off the next 2 weeks. I'm actually going to be on vacation, because, you know, as I've stated, I'm working most of the time while I'm out here, and thankfully I can remotely work, and with the help of Starlink. Not a huge Elon Musk fan, but the Starlink does work pretty good. If being expensive, but it still does work pretty good. So I changed my plans, and I'm headed up even further north because I want to go to. I have a boat trip tour of Voyagers National Park tomorrow. It's supposed to be raining. I don't know. I wish it could be today. I mean, the only plus side to the rain is that it might not be buggy. I don't know. We'll see. And that was the only day this week that I could schedule that for some reason. So I changed my reservation. I'm going to another state park. Plus, this place is awfully buggy, and I can't do astrophotography here. Anyways, well, I mean, I could. Maybe this week it would be new moon. But I'm just punting on the astrophotography. I'm going to head up there, go to Voyagers, spend a few days exploring Voyagers, and then I'm going up to Zipple Bay Park for the remainder of the week. And I'm going to go up to the northernmost point, which they have erected a concrete ball, dome, whatever you want to call it, that looks very much like the southernmost point down in Key West. Different colors, but the same construction. I think it's only been there for like 7 years, but it's a counterpoint. The only problem with that place is you do have to cross. It's a little piece of Minnesota that's separated by probably 50 miles of water or 50 miles of Canada. So there are only two ways to get there: is by boat or by driving through Canada. So I'm going to try to get up there by boat later in the week, and then I will. Then I'm heading over to the Lake Superior, but that should be the most northern point that I reach on this trip. Hopefully, those other two parks will be a little less buggy because they're not a bog. This is a bog. They are next to lakes, so it's probably going to be buggy. I'm not going to set my expectations too high, but yeah. So here I am. It's almost July, so it's almost 3 months, halfway point or so of this journey, and things are going pretty well. Beautiful day today. I'm gonna back to the old trailer, hook her up, and I'm only going 50-60 miles today up to a place called Baudette. The one thing the knock of this park is it's a pretty decent park, decent facilities, but they don't have a dump station, which is ridiculous. But there's a small town park in Baudette, Minnesota, that has a dump station. I'm gonna go borrow theirs. I'll throw them some bucks if they allow me, and hopefully they do, because I'm nearly full. But anyways, the Zippel Park does have a dump station, but I'm not going to be there until like Thursday, so I don't think I can make it that long, especially since this park that I'm going to the next couple nights doesn't have any facilities, basically. So I mean, they have a primitive toilet and a water hose. That's hook up, and that's about it. So anyways, I've probably gone on long enough here. Yeah, not so bad. It's bog. It's boggy. Beautiful when it's clear. It's beautiful here. It's now officially summer, and even summer night, like last night, I think it got down to like 42 degrees, which is cold for this Florida boy. But the days are pretty beautiful when it's not raining. But yeah, I think I've probably rambled on long enough here. So yeah, just wanted to make another check-in since I didn't do it last week. I'm gonna get things hooked up and hit the road. And yeah, I'll probably do some more check-ins from like Voyagers, and I'm gonna try to get to Isle Royale National Park too the following week, but I waited too long to book my day trip boat ride there. It's an island way up north, and on Lake Superior, and you can only get to it by boat or plane. And there's only one boat that allows you day trips, because it's so far. I mean, from the Grand Portage in Minnesota, it's still like an hour and a half. It's 2 hours boat ride, depending on conditions. And so if you go in the morning and you 2 hours out there, 2 hours back, for some reason they bring you back really early, so you only get like 4 hours on the island. But if you don't do the day trip, then there's several options for overnight, but I don't know that I want to spend an overnight on that island. I mean, if it's not going to be too cold. I don't really have a tent though, so I couldn't find any cabins. They have very few facilities. There's quite a few campgrounds, a couple of visitor centers, but there's not much else. So I'd have to acquire a small tent that I can carry with me on the boat. I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I might fly out there. I mean, there's a little puddle jumper seaplane that you can get out there on. Not that crazy about flying on those kinds of planes. Not that crazy about flying in general, but that might be my only option. It's expensive, but that's the only other way I can do a day trip out there. But because the the boat trip that's a day trip is completely full over the next 2 weeks, so that's not an option, which is what I was planning to do. I'm going to try to get there one way or another. But anyways, yeah, because I don't think I'll ever be up here again. No offense, Minnesota, but I mean, there's some good things about it, but I don't think this is a place that I want to spend a lot more time in. Yeah. All right. Enough of that. As usual, stay tuned for more updates, and catch you later.